All of this was a major adversary of the United States, the adversary of the United States. Well, the Angle has been warning about this for months. And over the weekend, the Wall Street Journal put it the most starkly ever. Chinese ownership of U.S. farmland leapt more than 20-fold in just one decade, from $81 million in 2010 to $1.8 billion in 2020. Beijing hasn't outlined a strategy, but large-scale state backing for these investments indicates there is one. Joining me now are the authors, two authors of that piece, both from the Lincoln Network. Lars Erik Schonander is a policy technologist, and Geoffrey Cain is a senior fellow. Lars, how long has it been since our own government has carefully audited these purchases?
So the last time the program that tracks these investments has been audited was in 1989, according to the GAO. So ever since then, there has been no formal audit of a program.
Right, Geoffrey, how is this possible? You have the CCP approving these purchases, clearly, because no one's going to buy this without approval from the CCP. And yet, this is just like, we're just going along, oh, this is fine. Tell us the worst of the worst here.
Well, the worst of the worst is that the CCP is buying, through private companies in China, massive tracts of land, many acres of land that are right near military bases. So there's one example in North Dakota, another one in Texas. It truly is a wild situation to see Chinese companies openly buying land where they can spy on American military bases.
Can we do that in China?
No, it's not allowed.
So we're not allowed to do any of this in China, but they can come here and buy whatever they want.
China is a communist country, and people cannot own land. The state owns land. We can't go there. We can't buy land, open a factory on that land. But Chinese companies are free to come here. This place is open.
Now, Lars, Smithfield Foods website addressed concerns of their own ties to China. They claim they're not a Chinese state-owned enterprise. They don't undertake commercial activities on behalf of the Chinese government. Lars.
It's understandable why they do that, but I'd point out that it's very strange that when the deal came through in 2013, the company that bought out Smithfield Foods, WH Group, was given a $4 billion loan by the Bank of China, a state-backed Chinese bank, to do said loan. That's all things considered very strange that they were being fronted the money to buy our largest pork producer.
But can't we just get to cut to the chase here? Nothing that Chinese interests do in the United States is not approved by the CCP in some way, shape, or form, correct?
Right. China...
So the CCP is buying land. I'm sorry, I'm just going to, you guys are real academic, I'm going to say it the way regular people talk. The CCP is approving every single purchase that's made in the United States, in one way or another.
Yeah. In one way or another, because, well, in America, we have separation of private business and government. We have liberty, we have freedom. In China, that doesn't exist. Private companies are ultimately accountable and must answer to the Chinese Communist Party. There's no way around that, and if they're buying land by a military base, that is open to abuse, it's open to spying. That is a major red flag, and I don't know how this situation happened, but it is absolutely ludicrous.
God. I mean, they shouldn't be able to buy anything here.
Oh, yeah.
They have millions of people enslaved in labor camps, and we're welcoming here. The last month, Adam Minter of Bloomberg wrote a piece implying that the Chinese investment in U.S. farmland, to ban that would be a national security or food security issue for us. He also went on to say it was racist, this is a Bloomberg writer, racist to ban China. I guess the libertarians think this is all open markets, open borders. They're still peddling that nonsense. Your reaction to that, Lars?
Well, there were concerns about that by Grace Meng in a different bill a few months ago, but the boring response to that is that there's other adversaries that have been raised concerns about that from North Korea, Russia, Venezuela. It isn't just a Chinese thing. It just, any country that's an adversary of the United States should be shown the door.
Roughly 40% of U.S. domestic farmland will be transferred to new ownership, it said. I mean, this is crazy. And Lars, I'll go to Geoffrey on this. They just mentioned this, but last year Congressman Newhouse added this amendment to the agriculture spending bill that would ban agriculture purchases from Chinese parties. Democrat Congresswoman Grace Meng, as you noted, strongly opposed the amendment. Listen to her logic. Everyone has to hear this.
I understand the issue and the concerns and the intentions behind it, but I am also concerned about singling out China and the repercussions that it will have on the health and safety of Asian Americans here in the United States.
Geoffrey.
This is one of the major red flags of the Democratic left. They say that worrying about our national security against the most authoritarian police state in the world, which is China, is going to be conflated with racism against Asian Americans. These are separate issues. We can promote equality at home. We can, promote the rights of minorities.
It's a fake issue.
It's a fake issue. We can also fight China. We can defend against Chinese incursions, Chinese Communist Party incursions into the country. These are separate.
You know what this reminds me of? The Wuhan lab. Like, you could never talk about the Wuhan lab and the origins of the virus because that's racist. It's a total non sequitur, but they throw sand in the wind and hope you can't see anything. Huh? Guys, great to see you tonight.
Yeah. Thanks, Laura.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.